What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Trell here from Team APS, coming to you guys with another deck profile. I just came back from the Conway, Arkansas regionals, where I went X1-1 with the deck, the spice of the format, P.U.N.K. Obviously, I've been playing the deck. Well, since the field, I've been playing Punk since they came out or whatever. It was just an engine. Obviously, it's a pure deck now. It's a great deck, I think. The field spell and that synchro are bonkers. I don't say that about many cards, but they are. Got me to an X1-1. I drew against a Despot player. I just kind of punted and it was a draw. And then I actually lost in the finals to the eventual winner of the event. So I have no qualms, no complaints about the deck. There are a few things I will change, mostly inside, but and also an extra deck. But other than that, this deck is great. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Before I do though, shout out to Aaron from Top Tier Gaming Yu-Gi-Oh. Go check him out. He's actually the one who won. This guy is a GOAT. He's an unsung hero. A lot of people don't know exactly who he is because he doesn't go everywhere, but dude can play. I've been watching him play since he was like a kid, literally I think 12, and he has proven his merit in this game. I love to watch him play. It was great to play against him in the finals. He kicked my butt with Exo Sisters nonetheless, so y'all really want to go check him out because dude he's the truth. All right, anyway, on to the deck profile. Y'all know how this goes. It is P.U.N.K, so y'all know what I'm running. Obviously, triple Xiamen. People think this is the best card in the deck. It is probably the top 3 best cards of the deck, but it's definitely one card full combo. Literally, a lot of times I top deck this card and it got me game just because if you're not stopping what I'm doing with Xiamen, you're not winning. Action finals, game 3 against my opponent, against him, I drew all 3 Xiamen, so that didn't look too well for me. But anyway, still a great card, and you already know we're gonna keep going. The triple Foxy Tune is literally Xiamen. It's Xiamen. It's a light Xiamen. Gotta play 3. Triple Ogre Dance, again, it's another Xiamen. That's all it is. Crazy thing about it is nobody really remembers or understands that all the Punk monsters have more than one effect. And so people don't realize it, so they don't read them, so they just know about the searching and all that, and then you do other things. It's just amazing. 2 Deer Note. I was playing 3, but the thing is I never want to draw more than 1. And once I get them in the graveyard, even if it's 1 or 2 in the graveyard, Amazing Dragon just keeps on recycling them anyway, so I always have access to them, so there's no reason to play 3. And I don't play anything I play Gizmic, obviously, but I don't play anything else that would just banish them. If I just banish both, just luck, right? But other than that, 2 is enough. You never want to see more than that. This card here, Sharakusa, is the hands down the reason why I won most of my games. I used to play 1, and it was great. But then I was like, you know what? Sometimes I just wanted to have it again. So I would have to force the Deer Note play to bring it back from the graveyard, or force the Amazing Dragon. And sometimes you just don't want to do that. So I always played 2 because you can Eteli it out on your opponent's turn. You can bring it out with Needle Fiber, or if you had the resources to special summon from the hand with the field spell. It was always good to have another one in rotation. So playing 2 was great. I was going to play 3, but I realized I also didn't want to draw more than 1. But 2 is enough. And also sometimes you just got to normal summon and use the effect and fuse from the hand like a polymerization. Lovely card. Thank you. 1 Battle Spider. It searches the trap, and also if you target your opponent's monster with a Punk effect, it halves a monster's attack. That actually helped me get a game against a Despia tournament player because again they don't read the cards. Nobody reads cards in Yu-Gi-Oh anyway. Just 1 of is enough though. And then last but not least, probably the best Punk now in the deck is Wagon. Searches the field spell. I actually was going to play one of the continuous spells, but I feel like I didn't have the space, but I probably could have given how the weekend went. But searches the field spell. And also, whenever your opponent targets a Punk monster with an effect, you just change the effect, a quick effect to draw. So I would just put it on the field, search field spell. I go Xiamen, effect, they Veller Xiamen, draw another card. We're going full combo. And I draw a card at the field spell too, because I still pay life points. Amazing. The 1 Plague Spreader. I was playing Shinobi Necro. But the problem with that is the only way you're getting that effect off is if you go the Chaos Ruler line, and I hardly ever go the Chaos Ruler line anymore because 1, people expect it. 2, Chaos Ruler gets you advantage, but it's a random meal, and I wanted to get something more specific. So the level 8 Punk Synchro was always the first line to go into unless you had to go Chaos Ruler, or unless Chaos Ruler was the smarter play to not waste your Synchro. So I would get this because this is essentially 2 bodies. Necro's only 2 bodies if you go the Chaos Ruler line. It's only 2 bodies if you go Chaos Ruler line and you're able to bring it back from the graveyard. That's the only other way. But outside of that, this card works from the graveyard just whenever, because you're going to have plenty of cards. This card works from the graveyard for free, so it's always an extra monster for me. So I had to play this. Of course, 3 Gizzy. Do not talk about me for having 3 different rarities. None of my friends want to give me a secret rare, so get better friends. But Gizmek obviously was another MVP. The entire deck is MVP worthy, right? I mean, this is just Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Actually, I had one of my opponents normal summon King type of Wanku against me, and that might have been a problem, except I drew into Gizmek, and so I was like, Gizmek, bust Wanku, full combo, break board, you do nothing. So like, thank you, Gizzy. And of course, you play enough cards where you can afford to use it like 2 to 3 times, and I did a few times because you just had to. Actually, I was under some limit one time, and so I purposely kept using Gizmek. I kept bringing it back to where I always had pressure, so it was great. Onto the hand traps, because that was like pretty much all that was all the meat and potatoes. So onto the hand traps, because you play quite a few, but that's also personal preference. So we've got the 3 Ash that because obviously they're Ash. The 2 Valor. I was playing 3, but I dropped it down to 2 to play other cards. 2 DD Crow, because everybody says it's the best form hand trapping format. It was really good. Could have been something else, but it was it performed well. It did what it was supposed to do. Whatever. The Gamma package with the driver, because of course why not? And this is probably the best hand trap in the deck. I actually had somebody who tried to get funky with me. I tell it. He was like, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you, and I had the Gamma, and he just knew he lost from there, so he literally just packed that up. 2 Ogre. I originally was playing 3 because you wanted to see it, but the new Synchro just searches it, all standard stuff. Very, very lovely. Love Ogre. Ogre actually overperformed this weekend. Like, oh my god, like the fact that you get your effects of your monsters, but I'm removing bodies, and that just killed like so many people because like you get an effect, but you needed that body. You don't do anything. It was great. And then last but not least, this is the card I just didn't test, but I put it in literally the morning of the event because I just wanted to try to see how it worked. Was a Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell was just literally another DD Crow, and it was great because it helped me against things like Toad. It helped me against things like Despia that people don't realize is an issue. Like, so the dude was playing Despia with snow and all that, and Ghost Bell just said like you got to do extra stuff to get around this. So another great card. Love it, love it, love it. That's all. That's it for the monsters. Again, the hand traps can be interchangeable. In fact, you can probably play less hand traps because at times I just didn't want to see them, and so I might actually put in more extenders. I have plans for that, but as it went, it got me where it needed to get me. And onto the spells, I played a very minimal spell package. Obviously, the best spell in the game, E-Telly. The second best spell in the game, Punk Jam Extreme Session. I was inviting people to my party all weekend, all right? I was DJing all weekend, jam sessions the entire weekend. This card was just so broken. I got ogre like once or twice, but the whole point is I want you to ogre it so I can keep my monsters on board. I don't care about you ogering it. But this card just gave me so much advantage, it was ridiculous. And the fact that it can special summon from the hand, I'm always putting bodies out there. And then last but not least, with the card that I did not test, but I felt like I needed to play, and I'm glad that I did play because it got me there, was a triple Forbidden Droplet. One, I don't play too many spells because people play anti-spell fragrance, so I want to make sure that anything I play can get around that, either by quick play, being able to activate from hand, or just not needing it at all. So this is all I played for the spells. But Forbidden Droplet, like I said, was just last minute put in because I wasn't playing it at all before. But I'm glad that I did because at one point I had to drop as my opponent for 4. And I pitched off an imperm with that, and I was able to stop he had a solemn judgment set, so he couldn't solemn. I impermed his whole board, or dropped his whole board, broke the entire board because of that. So like this card overperformed. I wasn't gonna play it, but my only fear and the reason why I played it was because of tier elements. They do so much on your turn, and like you can't Valor or anything like that. So my thing was like maybe I'd be able to stop everything that they fuse into, but if I drop it, on my turn and get rid of stuff, I can still play through whatever they're trying to put out there. So this card was the clutchest card that I needed to be. And I also say that E-Telly just loved my hand yesterday. Thank you, E-Telly. That works out. That's it for the spells. That's a very minimal package. You're not going to anti-spell fragrance me and leave me under it because what the hell. As far as the traps, triple Imperm because it's the best 6th card that you want to draw. Like, if you have to draw 6 cards, Imperm's great. I hardly drew it. I maybe drew it 4 times the entire time yesterday, but every time I drew it, it was impactful. So thank you, Imperm. Actually, I lied. It got crossed out, designated once, but I still won that game. 2 of the Punk trap, the National Warrior Surprise. Basically, if you control the Punk, you can pop a face up or face down. You can pop a card if you control the Punk. If you don't control the Punk, it only pops set cards. But card was great because interruption. And then the card that actually is the reason why I feel like I even got the invite. Now, granted, Punk's a great deck, but just the fact that when you play like Spice and Surprise factors, your opponent isn't ready. The card that I'm pretty sure got me where I needed to go, because there were times when like my hand or my resources just were not there. I needed something. Was Terrors of the Overroot. This card pretty much says you target a card in the field and your card in your opponent's graveyard. You send that card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, you can set the card from the graveyard that you targeted. So I would literally just like target a floodgate, target a problem monster, anything, send it to the graveyard, set like a hard once return card they use, set a hand trap, set anything that I know. In fact, I played against a Despia player, and he actually went to target his Alibur in the graveyard, and I just set it back to his field face down. And he couldn't flip it face up or whatever, so it was just a dead card or whatever. So it was great. Like this card, it's a common, and I don't want to overhype cards, but I just would like to say that I played it. It got me first place at a box tournament just a few days ago, and then of course it got me to the finals of my regionals yesterday. So I just want to say this card was amazing, overperformed, great, love it. That's it for the main deck. It was actually 50 cards. I went to 60 because I'm a 60 card guy. But there were just 10 cards I just didn't need to play. They were just dead. Like that was just me trying to flex, and it was crap. So I took them. 50 is as much as I'm going to go because it allows me to still see my engine and also be able to use my Gizmek a few times without feeling like decking out. So there's an extra deck. Needs some work, at least by my knowledge, but it was still great. The one Hockey Fabrax because you play it because you play everything to tuner. The one Dark, which actually came up in my Despia matchups. I only made it once, but when I did, it was impactful because I stole Mirror Jades and other things. When I played the Selene access code line, I never went to either one of these. There was never a time where I felt like I needed access code to break boards or to kill my opponent. So I'm pretty sure Selene's coming out. I'm not sure about access code, but most likely it'll come out if I'm not playing a Link 3 because you want max value off the access code. So these two will probably come out. But that was the package for that. The Zombie Vampire. I never went to this card. I tell you, I don't go Chaos Ruler really anymore in the deck if I don't have to, or I'll go into it as an extender or to put damage on board. But I never really go into this card anymore, so it may come out as well. Because also, I'm afraid of Tier Elements just popping up because you just never know what they're being splashed into. And also, I don't want to like mill like a Sprite person and they mill like fucking Ronin Toad. That's just gonna piss me off. So this card might come out. It just never came up. It was like just don't need it. Rising Carp was MVP. Actually, in the finals, my opponent took a 50-50 gamble, and I actually asked it. And the one time I didn't have the gamble, that's how he won the game against me. But I might put this at 2, actually, because this card was great. But this card literally just says, just go in your deck, get 2 monsters that are not level 8, and just kill your opponent, because you're going to kill your opponent. So this card's great. Then we move on from there to the Synchros, the Formula Sync run, the Chaos Ruler, because you do still run it, because why not? You like to fill your graveyard up, like you like to add to your hand. Jam Dragon Drive. This was the DJ of the weekend. This guy just kept jumping from the grave. My opponent tried to DD Crow him. I was like, yeah, we're just coming back out. Like, we're just no, we don't care. We're not doing stuff. It's whatever. Ching Ying, which is hilarious because people don't see it coming. So actually, I chinged my opponent. I think I hit the attack was like, what was it, 6,300? I think it was. And my opponent like lost attack on their monster. So I'm just like punching people. But around the floor, I only made it once. Because I played against a Sword Soul, because who's still playing Sword Soul? But I played against Sword Soul, so I made against Sword Soul to make sure they couldn't have my board, and then it got me there. Moved up a little bit so y'all can still see. Psychic Punisher was a Punisher. Actually, I played against a Tier Element Despia player, and he left one of the little Tier Elements on the field in attack mode. I paid myself down to 200 life points. I summoned this, boosted attack, and punched it. And he couldn't stop it, so that was game. This card just tells you that if you're going to play little monsters and be ahead in life points, you're choosing to lose. It's Exeton Night all over again. Like, just play better. I wouldn't go to this. I played Calamity because I can make it easily, but there was never a line that I wanted to go into to make it when I always had other advantages or things, so it's obviously going to come out. But it's just one of those things where if you do go Calamity, you stop a lot of turns. You literally end turns with Calamity. There's nothing they can do about it. And that was my process. In playing with Calamity before, I would just kill people because they can't get past it. But I realized I never needed it because my other monsters gave me so much more advantage. Including advantage was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Punk Amazing Dragon. It was amazing. This card literally just says on summon, it's a Mistworm. And it's up to 5. At least with my deck, it's up to 5. And once returned, it's a Monster Reborn. So I'm just Monster Reborn stuff and just like looping my Punk monsters for the free. Like, it is crazy. I had to play 2. I originally was just playing 1, but playing 2 made sure that the grind game was mine. And typically the grind game was mine. And yes. I went to the side deck. It was trash. My side deck, but every time we do a deck profile, y'all know me, my side decks are always trash. So thankfully my main deck gets me there because my side decks are ass. They're always ass. The worst card in my side deck was Nib. Even when I sided in, I never went to see it. Like, even my opponent could go full combo, and I just didn't want to see Nib. Like, because like there was never a time when I'm like, Nib would be better here. So you put enough hand traps in your main deck that you can break through most board, or at least put them in an unoptimal position that you can break the board the following turn. So Nib just is not necessary. We're just not going to worry about that. In fact, just if you play it, cool, do what you want to do. People say, you got to respect the Nib. I didn't respect Neil all day, and my opponent, they didn't either, and I was glad they didn't because it made it easier for me. Triple Forbidden Graveyard because, of course, Trail elements, things like that. I think I sided it in twice, and I never saw it. So, in theory, it was good, and I'm pretty sure maybe if I drew it, it was good. But also, I was never in a position where I needed it either. That was the only grateful part as well, is that even in times when I did side again, I was never in a position where I was like, man, I wish I had Forbidden Graveyard. So it'll probably be something else. It was something else before, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to switch it out. Gotta have your back row hate. Lightning Vortex. Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster. Side in a couple times going second. Lightning Storm actually came up. I only drew Lightning Storm once, like the entire day, but it came up when my opponent had 4 back rows. So, thank you, sir. I was gonna play 3 Lightning Storms, but the condition of having no face-up cards becomes an issue. So Harpy's was just better. Then I played triple D-Shifter. Never drew it, but I played against 2 Despia. I played against Sword Souls, it was for things like that, but it's D-Bear. Don't have to explain that. But I'm also not going to play it in the future either because I don't want to play it. And then last but not least, which I will continue to play though, There Can Be Only One. That's it. Highlander, There Can Be Only One. I had it against Sword Soul, but I never needed it. And it was funny because he just kept telling me, I think I could have won that game. And I was like, you couldn't. And he was like, no, I could have broke your board. And I'm sitting there with a There Can Be Only One face down. I just never told him until later on in the tournament. And actually, I played with my Sprite player as well. This guy was nuts. He goes Deep Sea Diva effect. I go Ogre, Chain Veiler. He goes Call by Chain Cross-Out Designator and blast me. It was crazy. And so then it resolves, and he brings out his second Diva, and then I just flip up There Can Be Only One, and he just loses because even if he has any extenders, I had my Punk trap that popped as well, so I just had too much advantage. And I also had the Shirakusa in the field to bounce his field back to his hand, so I was going to make sure I won. But anyway, this card is staying in the deck because we can play through it, play around it, we don't care. That is it for the deck profile. Again, there'll be some changes made. I enjoyed this deck so much. I enjoy Punk in general, so that's a good thing. You guys should give it a shot. I think it's a little more expensive now, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, the main deck, 50 cards. This deck is it is so much gas. I love it so much. And of course, MVP. This card, you guys don't have to like it. I'm completely okay with that. Personal preference, right? But this card here just literally got me to so many games. There was a game where all I had in play was a Veiler and double Ogre, and I drew this. And in between those interactions, I literally broke my opponent's board, top deck Yaman, finished the game. So, again, it's your boy Trell, Team APS. This is my top 8 pure Punk deck profile. Pass turn.